This is a literally psychotic. This is literally criminal. Okay. Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Gabby Giselle, and today's vlog is going to be me trying to tackle my physical TBR. Okay. Now, for my friends who are not book readers and maybe you're just watching this, just, support me. A lot of my friends have been watching all my vlogs. Love you. Or maybe you are, or you want to get into reading a physical TBR. TBR means to be read. And a lot of times people use apps like Goodreads or Fable to mark what books they've read, their review of the book, and then also what books they want to read in the future, okay? So that is like a TBR in your apps, right? Digital TBR. Doesn't mean you own those books. Now, I have a physical TBR, and it is a mile long. I counted. I have 35 books that I haven't read that I own. Okay? And I know, before everybody gets on me and is like, Gabby, that's ridiculous. I know. But book buying and book reading, I believe, are two separate hobbies. So don't come for me too hard, okay? But today's video, we're just going to be kind of going through all of the books that are on my physical TBR, and then we are going to spend the next week trying to conquer as many books on that list as possible. So I've already started the audio of Behold the Dreamers. I'm about 10% of the way through. I'm on chapter 6. This book follows a man called Jende, and he is Cameroonian, which is in Africa, and he comes to the States with his wife and his son, and basically it's all about his journey as an immigrant in America, trying to make it. His immigration status becomes a little bit and as the daughter of immigrants, this really interests me. I actually bought this at a local bookstore, which is now closed, which sucks, but I've had this for probably a month or two, and I'm actually enjoying it. The audio, though, kind of gets a little bit funky to understand sometimes because there's so many different African accents. So it's a little bit rough trying to figure out sometimes who's speaking. But the narrator does a pretty good job of using a little bit of different inflections and, spice to his voice when he does different characters in this. But all in all, it's really, really cool. And it kind of is like a parallel with a white family, like a white, rich, privileged family in America who Jende actually works for. And you get to see the parallels of their different lives and their problems that they experience. The other book that I'm also in the middle of reading is Stephen King's Holly. This is a thriller horror-y book about a private investigator named Holly. Literally, her name is on the front of the book. Sorry. It's been a minute since I've read this, but this is what my book club is reading for the month of March, but we also haven't met in 2 months. So I feel like there's not really a lot of pressure to get this done, but I'm about 220 pages in. So I'm about halfway through, and it's pretty good. Holly is looking for a missing girl whose mother reaches out to Holly to try and find her because this is actually takes place in 2021, which is COVID times, and the police were kind of busy. So Penny, who is the mother of the girl who goes missing, Penny reaches out to Holly because she's a private investigator and she has her own sort of story. I'm enjoying it so far. I definitely recommend if you are wanting to try Stephen King. This is honestly not that difficult to get into. And if you're kind of I don't want to read books that mention COVID, I'm the same way, but it's not super big in a lot of the book. There's people who die from COVID in here, and yeah, I thought it was going to bother me a lot more than it did. There are some triggering words, though, in the little first half from the cannibals in this book because they're racist and homophobic, and It's a little bit jarring to read, but not too bad. Just know that that's in here. Now, the other book that I'm trying to slice off of my TBR is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. This is a romantasy about these two sisters. It's Genevieve and Ophelia. Sorry, she goes by Ophi in the book. I'm a little bit farther through with this on my Kindle than I am actually physically, but it basically follows them. Their mother is a witch. She passes away, and Ophelia, being the oldest daughter, her responsibility is basically to just take over this manor where they do tons of like necromancy and all these other things. And there is a sort of like Hunger Games-esque thing that goes on, and it's always just kind of like this rumor that like happens in the newspaper and they read about it, whatnot. And when Ophelia and Genevieve's mother dies, they find out that their estate is going to be repossessed by the bank because her mother took out the equity in the property and hasn't paid it back. So in order to save their house that they grew up in, they have to join these games. Now, Genevieve, being the youngest, is kind of like the one who's been shielded from all these responsibilities of being a witch and whatnot. And Ophelia is the one who's had to be put into training to be a witch, didn't get to go to like normal school and be a normal kid. And Genevieve feels like, I want to do something to help this situation, because she was aware of it before her mother passed away, because she like found out, and she tries to go to those like death gates. And Ophelia tries to go save her because she's like, bitch, you're gonna die. No way. And at those games, I believe she ends up meeting our little MMC, dark romance man, and they end up falling in love at some point. I don't know, but I'm only about like 100 pages into this, but it's pretty good so far. So those are the 3 books that I'm kind of in the middle of right now that I'm trying to conquer. So these are going to be our top 3. By the end of this week, we will be done with these 3, no matter what. Now, okay? Now, I do want to let you know, I did go to the library and I did rent out 2 different books. This is Lady Macbeth. It's kind of like a Lady Macbeth retelling from her side of the story, which is really, really cool. And this is called Death in the Downline, which is a murder mystery about a girl who joins an MLM, rises up the ranks in the MLM, and somebody dies at one of their like MLM girl trips, whatever. I just thought it would be really fun to read. So those I also should probably read in the next week. Otherwise, I'm going to be late on my library card, and I don't want to do that. So hopefully I can read those too. Now, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the rest of this TBR really, really quick. I'm just going to like super quick show you the book, tell you the author, tell you kind of like what I know about it. And a lot of these, you'll find out I don't know much. I don't know much. So we're going to start with some series. So we are going to start with Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. This takes place in the Caraval universe, which I haven't read. It is a YA romance. It's like a fantasy romance. It's very like fairy tales, and I've just heard really, really good things about this, and I haven't started it yet. But there are 3 books in the series. I think it's a completed trilogy. Comes highly recommended. Like I said, I haven't read Caraval, but according to my friend Kaden, shout out Kaden, I don't need to read Caraval to understand what goes on in these books. And I feel like Caraval is not up my alley. I read the first 10 pages at a Barnes & Noble probably about a year ago, and I just could not care. And yeah, I just don't think that that's going to happen. But this series needs to be completed, okay? Now, the next series that I have is the Ravenhood series. This follows this like group of... It's giving fan fiction, okay? And I thought that I would really, really like these, and I'm scared to read them because I watched Noli Nova's video on them, and I was like, wow, I don't think I'm going to enjoy this, okay? I don't know. But it's also giving fanfic that I would have loved as a kid. It's giving After, okay? Basically, it's like if One Direction was in like a gang, and then they needed to like find love interests for all the boys, okay? The first one is giving Why Choose, and it sounds like a good time, okay? So... at some point, I would like to read these. I feel like they'll be easy reads. Like, I feel like it's going to be, like, all vibes, no plot, like, no literary genius going on in here, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, so, slay. So, for those of you who don't know, or don't follow me on TikTok, which follow me on TikTok, it's at Gabby.Giselle on TikTok. But I DNF'd this book. DNF means did not finish. You want to know why? Because it's horrible. It's bad. It's just bad. I'm sorry, and I hate to yuck your yum if you like this. And anything I say is just my opinion, you guys. Like, I don't want to offend anybody. And, like, there have been book talkers who I really love and respect who have said this book is trash, not this one, but a book is trash, right? And I'll be like, but I love that book. Even though I respect their opinions, sometimes things just don't hit. It depends on like the mood and the season of your life you're in. So this season of my life, I did not enjoy this. I did not like this. Okay, no. And I know the new one just came out, but when I bought this, I'd also bought this because I had so much faith in the TikTok girlies to not lead me astray. Okay? But you did. You let me so astray, and I hated this. And I DNF'd to 255 pages in. Why is it 455 pages? Why? There's not 455 pages worth of plot in here. There's nothing in here, actually, in my personal opinion. No yearning, no nothing. It's very insta-lusty. It's very just no vibes. Okay, no vibes. It wasn't even giving me cowboy vibes. It's giving me small town vibes, which is like a sleigh, but when it's a small town, I want it to be like cozy and like comforting, and it just wasn't. It was giving like billionaire romance, but like small town, and it just was not giving. Like, ew. And this follows the MMC Ford in the MMC in this book is Ford and his best friend Weston Belmont, who is also Rosie's brother in the first book. This follows him falling in love with some other girl. Also, really don't know because I didn't finish this book. Okay, so I don't really care. I don't know if I'm gonna read this, but the girlies have also told me that this one is the worst one in the series. This I will never finish, and I am okay with not knowing. So I don't know. Now, if you guys have never read the Hades and Persephone series, it is one of my. It's like I think it's like a touch of madness. I don't know. I forget what the actual series is called, but it is a Hades and Persephone retelling in like an urban fantasy world. It is so good. Okay, the first 3 books in the series are written in Persephone's POV, right? And I think we do end up getting a Hades POV at some point in the book, but then Scarlett St. Clair wrote Hades' perspective, and this is the first book in Hades' perspective. I believe there's another one. I can kind of look at the front. I haven't read this series in a very long time, but it's one of those series that I definitely believe that I would enjoy rereading at some point. Yeah, so there's the Hades x Persephone series, and then there's Hades Saga, which is basically like his POV. And there's A Game of Fate, A Game of Retribution, and I believe there might be a third one coming out. But basically, it's like Greek gods, but in like a modern retelling. And I love the first 3 books, and I've kind of just been like saving this for like a day when I just want to like, you know, I haven't read the first 3 books in forever, so I might do a vlog where I reread them and then read this as well. But I love this universe. And the smut, the romance, the stakes. Oh, so good. Scarlett St. Clair ate this up. Okay, she ate the whole series up. Now, this is a series that I only have. This is the second book in the series, I believe. This is a Lucy Score book. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I've never even read this. I don't know why I only have like the second book in the series, but I was supposed to like read it and then share books with my friend Kaden, I think at some point, and then I just like never read it. So I don't know anything about the plot. I don't know anything about the book. I don't even remember why I bought it. So moving on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're actually going to get into it. Oh my God. Guys, I have so many books here. It's not even funny. It's like really, really bad, actually. While we're on the topic of like Greek god vibes with the Hades of Persephone, I bought Neon Gods by Katie Robert, which I don't even know if this is the first book in the series, but after I read the Hades and Persephone series by Scarlett St. Clair, I was like, girl, I need to read more about this. I just love anything Greek gods. Like, it just gives like the power. You know, like it's giving every time. And I heard it's good and smutty and like dark romancy, and I'm here for it. Oh, I love it. I love that universe of like Greek gods, urban fantasy. It's so good. I'm gonna have an options pile with like all the books that I should be reading. Then we'll have another vlog where I try to tackle as many books on my TBR as possible. So, anyways. So next I have the first book in the, I don't even know what this duology is called, but I have One Dark Window, which is the first book in the duology. It's basically like a dark fantasy romance. Well, I feel like the romance is more of like a subplot in this from what I've heard, but basically, I believe there's trials or something in this. I don't know. Okay. So I have People of the Book, which is essentially I forget what it's called that she is. I don't know what she's called, but basically she restores like super old historical books and readings, and it talks about her getting this job in Australia to go do some uncoverings and like restoration of historical books. And I believe it ends up kind of having like a fantasy element, some sort of like the book story kind of like comes to life type beat, and it's pretty small. As you can see, I did get this at a local bookstore, so it's a little bit worn. It has about 390 pages. But yeah, I've heard good things about this, and I saw it at the bookstore, and a little small fantasy, which this is also, I believe, a duology with the next book that just came out, and they have a beautiful cover for it. I'll insert a picture here. It is so stunning, but this is Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. It's like a fantasy, obviously, with dragons, and it's not that long, I don't think. It's about 330 pages, so this might be a really good option to read this week to try and conquer some books on my TBR. Another book that I've been meaning to read because the third book comes out, well, I guess technically the fourth book in the series comes out, but this is just the novella. It's Powerful for the Powerless World. Now, let's talk about it really quick. I'm just going to give you my opinions. Yes. All vibes, no plot. Like, it's giving trials, it's giving slay, it's a fun time. I genuinely think when this next book comes out, you could skip this. Just read the last page in this book. Just read the last page in this book, and then you could skip the rest of it, okay? Because you don't really need it, because it was bullshit. Sorry, Lauren. I really need to throw that out there. It was horrible. It was so boring. But I've heard this is gut-wrenching because it is about Adina, which is Peyton's best friend, and she gets unalived in the first book. I've heard good things about this, so this is also a good option. Another good option, which is a kind of whole different genre, is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I've heard good things about this book as well. I don't know. We might read this. I'm not sure, so we'll see. Another little mystery thriller vibe is The Locked Door by Frida McFadden. I've heard bad things about Frida McFadden, I'm going to be honest with you, so I don't even know if I want to read this. Another good short book on my TBR was gifted to me for my birthday 2 years ago by my book club. It's called Beautiful Bastard by Christina Lauren, and I think it's just like a billionaire romance. It might be a good option because it's only 300 pages. So this is actually a pretty good option to add to the list. Oh my god, I have so many books. Okay. Now these two I probably won't be getting to anytime soon because I don't want to rush through them. But this is Beneath a Scarlet Sky by Mark Sullivan, and it's basically a romance where it involves World War II, and this officer, this younger guy, kind of gets sent off to fight in the war, and he ends up rising up and becoming one of Hitler's second hands driver or chauffeur type vibe. But he falls in love with a Jewish girl, and so he uses all of his intel to help save the Jewish girl and other Jewish people in a time of war. I've heard this is just so heart-wrenching. It's just, I want to take my time with this, so we won't be reading this, but it's on my TBR. A Little Life by Hanya Hanagihara. Okay, Hanya Hanagihara. I've heard good things about this. I've also heard bad things about this, but again, a book I want to take my time on. It follows the story of 4 friends over the course of their lifetime, and it's really, really sad and traumatic. And I don't think I'm in the headspace to just fly through this, and I want to take my time with this, so probably not going to be reading that soon. But these two, I know they're going to make me cry, and I'm saving them for a good day, Oh, another book that I've DNF'd is Haunting Adelines by H.D. Carlton, the first one. First of all, look at this book. It's heavy. I could kill somebody with this book. I hate it, okay? Hated the way it's printed, hated the plot, hated the MMC, hate the vibes. I don't know. I've been told to just power through, but I don't know if I want to. So this is probably one of my DNFs from 2 years ago. I don't think that I want to come back to this. So I'm actually going to put this out of the TBR and into the donate pile. So, great. Sorry. I know everybody loves it. I don't even remember buying this, but this is Helen Hart's Follow Me Darkly, a novel. I'm assuming it's going to be giving dark romance, but I don't know. Maybe I'll save this for a time I'm feeling more dark romancy, because right now is not that time. The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I recently picked this up, and I really, really want to read it sometime soon, and it's about 370 pages, so this could be a good option, but I don't know. I feel like I don't want to, like, rush through this, but I might. Next, I have Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. I've heard this is really, really good. It kind of has, it's like a lit fic romance-y book about two characters that are pretty interesting and like weird and funky, and just kind of sounds on my alley, to be honest with you. But again, one of those books that I don't want to rush through, so this is not going to be read anytime soon. So yeah. Now, these are books, again, I probably won't be reading anytime soon, but Kristen Hanna's books. Okay, number 1, The Nightingale. I'm scared of this book. It's gonna hurt my feelings. It's about two people, again, during World War II in Paris. I just know it's gonna rip my heart out. So, slay, you know? Kristen Hanna, The Great Alone. I actually know nothing about this plot. So, Kristen Hanna, The Women now. Special edition sprayed edges. I kind of regret buying the one with red sprayed edges. I feel like it's kind of boring. But I do like the hardcover version of this with, like, you know, minus the Target sticker. It is like a historical, these are all like historical fictions. It takes place during like the Vietnam War. And it, like, I believe it jumps between like 3 different timelines. I don't even know. Now, I believe the rest of these are going to be all like fantasy. I have A Study in Drowning. I just recently picked this up at Barnes. Look at the spine. It's beautiful. This cover is everything. This is written by Ava Reed, which she also wrote Phantasma. Did I even say that? But yeah, she also wrote Phantasma, so this is more like a dark, moody, dark academia, kind of gothic style vibe. And I'm very excited to read this, but honestly, I just bought it because, like, I have it on my Kindle, so. I also have From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is a 5-book series, and then I think that there's, like, some sort of, like, prequel series also. So I think in total there's, like, 8 books in this series. But this is like a fantasy romance. Believe it's Why Choose? Maybe? I don't even know. So this is Cassandra Clare's Swordcatcher. And I believe it follows an orphan and a woman who, a girl who comes from like a lineage of witches or healers, I believe. And she is like unable to tap into her powers. And then they end up having to like work together to, I don't know. But the cover really, like, I saw this cover at Barnes and I had to have it. Like, I had to. Again, probably not a book that I'm going to read anytime soon because it is, I don't want to fly through it. There's 604 pages in this book. So, maybe not anytime soon. When the Moon Hatched. This is something I want to take my sweet little time on. Look how thick she is. I believe it has like 800 pages. 600 pages. 690 pages is in this book. But yeah, I believe it follows a female assassin, and I've just heard really, really good things. And at some point I would like to read this, but I'm also putting it off because only the first book is out. I don't know when the next book is coming out. Hopefully this year. But some of these I didn't mention, but they have another book coming out soon, and so I don't want to like read this book and then have to wait a long time because we all know Onyx Storm, she did us in. And I don't want to do that to myself again. So that's also why I've been saving the powerful novella for this month, because I know the next book comes out. And yes, I am going to buy it. And yes, I am going to read it because I just need a conclusion. I need more Kai. And just like all the spoilers Lauren has been posting. But did I pre-order it? No, because I didn't care that much. But hopefully I'll be able to get a copy anyways. Now, another book that I bought at a used bookstore is Defiance, which this is like a 2000s fantasy romance about this girl. She basically lives in a universe that's kind of like old-timey, where like women get off and get married and like they have protection, and then her dad hires her like a bodyguard type B, or like some man to basically try and protect her, and she's like super against it, but obviously they end up falling in love. I believe there's 3 books in this series. I don't know. But yeah, I read the first 10 pages at a bookstore and I thought it sounded really, really good. A Fate Inked in Blood. Okay, by Danielle L. Jensen. This is a thickie. Not like thickie, but like whitey. Does that make sense? What? She's a whitey. Honestly, so I was looking at this book on the Barnes & Noble shelf for like months before I decided to buy it, and then I ended up buying it at Target. So, was that a good decision? I don't know. I don't know anything about the plot. I have nothing to say about the plot, so sorry. And last but certainly, is this it? Yeah. Last but certainly not least, we have Our Infinite Fates, written by Laura Stephen, who also wrote This Is How You Lose the Time War, which I've heard really, really good things about. So hopefully this also lives up to that. And it doesn't seem super long. It's so beautiful. And the gold sprayed edges are everything. So yeah, that is all of my physical TBR. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next vlog where we are going to try and knock off as many books on this TBR as possible. So make sure you guys are subscribed down below. Comment down below which of these books you've read and which you think that I should read first, because I don't even know. But I love you guys so much. Have a great day. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. Everything will be linked down below. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching this video, and bye.